What a surprise, guys. The CEO of Red Thread Games, who made one of the wokest video games ever. Actually, they declared it was the wokest game ever. It was made in response to Donald Trump literally winning the 2016 election. Yeah, what a surprise that the CEO is extremely racist. So I saw this article on smashjt.com where he covered it greatly. And basically what happened is there was a form on Red Thread Games website that was from back in 2015. Of course, it's been since deleted because these activists that say all this weird venomous stuff, they're sure to cover their tracks. They make sure that all of their hatred that they actually have on people, most notably straight white males, it's always that. They make sure to cover it up. Well, thanks to the Internet Wayback Machine, it's been uncovered and it's being put on blast by people like Smash. I also saw Elvira Dark talk about it, Hypnotic, a couple others. Wanted to talk about this article. So this literally is calling it out, saying Ragnar Tørnquist, Red Thread Games founder, outed as a hypocrite on diversity. Another white guy that hates white guys. And that's the thing is, why do these weird progressive white men hate themselves? Why do they hate other white guys? And Eric, this is politics. No, this is infecting the gaming industry. This is becoming a huge problem, guys. This is everywhere. Like all these people that are coming into the gaming industry don't care about making good video games. They just want to put their political narratives out there and their woke ideologies and indoctrinate everybody that's in the gaming industry. It's like a weird campaign that they have, and it's blowing up as we speak on a near daily basis. We're finding out more and more and more. There's a lot of unhinged wackos in here, like Ragnar, who has a cool name. It's a shame that he's a fucking psycho. So looking at this, it says, looking at the forms from 2015, there's this thread right here, which I'll pull it up in a minute. He basically says like this whole huge, I guess, manifesto about what he does and how he feels about white people, and just it's nuts. Okay, this is like demented, unhinged, beyond extremely racist. We're gonna get there, but Smash did give his thoughts on it and stuff. He said he's been outed as an extreme racist hypocrite. And yeah, so people say in the past is in the past, but if you think about it, Dustborn, the whole concept, if you think about Dustborn and the whole concept behind it, the game literally was inspired to go against Trump being president. I bet you now in 2024, almost a decade later, this guy's Trump derangement syndrome is like tenfold. And I bet you he has Grum's derangement syndrome. I bet you he has Smash JT derangement syndrome and Hypnotic derangement syndrome. All these wokies are the same, no matter if they're male or female or whatever they fucking identify as. They're all the fucking same, dude. And they are sick in the fucking head. So let's look at this post. This is a lot to read here, but there's some fucking nutso stuff. So you can see, somebody said, I'm sure this is just all a tremendous coincidence. After all, where's the course of 3 games would Ragnarok? So this is all in response to, I guess, somebody posting about lack of white male characters or something like that. You can see this individual says, I'm sure this is all just a tremendous coincidence. After all, where is the course of 3 games would Ragnarok have the time or opportunity to introduce a positive white male character or a negative non-white character, right? And look how triggered Ragnar gets over this response. Just a suggestion about having a positive white male character or a negative non-white character. He says, seriously, this is the most fucked up, useless, and offensive observation I've read this week, and that includes the Steam forums. I stay away from most discussions these days because the internet is an increasingly depressing and upsetting place, but I'd hoped shit like this wouldn't poison our official forum, and since you called me out personally, I feel I'm entitled to respond. Our team is predominantly white and male. That's unfortunate, and hopefully something we could change in the long term. But hey, we live in Norway and we work in the game industry. Them's the shakes, as they say. As white males, we have absolutely nothing against our own gender or ethnicity, except that it gets dull. We have enough white maleness in our daily lives. Diversity is fun, colorful, inspiring. It makes creating worlds and writing stories more interesting. Oh God, these guys are fucking whack. Can I just say something? Why is it bad to be white? Why do these guys label it like it's a fucking bad thing to be white? They're literally they don't think that you could be white and be creative. They say that it's dull. Like, this is a white man literally saying that it's unfortunate that his staff back in 2015 was mostly white. Yikes. And he's saying that they have nothing against their own gender or ethnicity except that it gets dull, that there's no creative process behind it, that there's too many white people in their daily lives. This dude is Looney Tunes. This guy is absurd. Diversity could be fun. It could be colorful. It could be inspiring if it's natural, if it's not forced in and shoehorned in with DEI and woke agendas. It's great. But when you're plugging in characters just to check in DEI boxes, that's when it becomes an issue, right? That's when it becomes a problem in my book. These guys are, I shudder to think of who taught them in school or college or university, because a lot of these professors now are more worried about pushing ideologies, critical race theory, and bullshit like that. Now, you can see he goes on to continue saying, I actually believe we failed miserably at diversity in the past. April was white and straight. Zoe, despite her mixed heritage, she's part Chinese, is by all appearances white and straight. Clan has darkish skin, but he also has predominantly Caucasian features modeled after Persians, and he's played by a white actor. Crow, while he's a bird, but he's also played by a white guy. Westhouse, Emma, Mickey, Fiona, Burns, Flipper, Ben Rhymes. He goes on to list all these guys. He's saying TLJ was populated with mostly white characters along with some magical peoples, and most of those were played by white actors. Looking back, I'm actually embarrassed by the lack of diversity, but the world was a different place and I didn't know any better. Oh, God. It literally makes my stomach fucking shake to have to read all that bullshit. I literally am like shaking to have to read all that. That is like the most cringe bullshit I've ever had to read, to where you're saying I didn't know better back, like you're literally shaming yourself as some kind of like person that hurt and oppressed other people just by being white, and that having white actors voice characters in your games are bad, and that the people in your games were too white looking, that they weren't, actually Asian. Like, how are you going to say somebody's part Asian but they're white, or somebody's Persian but they're white? Like, who cares? Make a good game. Make entertaining games. Make something that's fun for people to play. Games are meant to be fun, right? Now, going on, he says, we were conscious of this and tried to introduce more diversity in Dreamfall, but a lot of the new cast, Bryn, Blind Bob, Reza, Gabriel, Crazy Clara, Garmon, Konis, Minstrom, these games sound fucking like terrible names. No wonder this company's sucking ass. Was still white, or at least non-colored. So if you're not colored, look at me when I say this, if you're not colored, you're bad. You're not a good character, guys. That's what the logic is with these guys. If you're not a person of color, if you're not, how dare I say, LGBTQ or anything like that, you're not a good character in these books. You have to have a label attached to your character, or to you, just in real life, video game aside. If you don't have a label on you that you identify as, you're not good. Now, continuing on, as I keep clicking and messing this up, it says, you'll notice that I've also listed characters who are not the antagonists or big bads of the story. Yep, there's a lot of positive white characters in the saga. I'd say that's a definite imbalance in favor of European American whiteness. So, again, why are all the bad people not white? I've heard that before. Especially when we were making a movie. Oh, why are there only two bad characters in the scene black or whatever? It's just ridiculous, right? We've once again tried to be more diverse with Dreamfall chapters, simply to keep it more interesting and real, to challenge ourselves and to reflect our changing world. That goes for everyone. The bad girls are good guys, people in between. Mira's a jerk and she's Indian. Liko's a bit of a dick and he's played by a black guy. So he's just going on like, oh, these characters are all this and they're diverse and they're both positive and negative. And this guy just takes down this criticism as trolling. As you can see right here on the bottom paragraph, he says, "I know you're trolling, but I'm sure I'm giving you exactly what you want right now. But this kind of shit frustrates, annoys, and upsets me greatly. We don't have a political agenda other than to try and represent a world where there aren't just white guys, but a mix of good people and bad people of all colors, ethnicities, and sexual orientations, like the real world. Because of our fictional world state as white as they were in Dreamfall and TLJ, they would appear ridiculously outdated, which ruins the fiction. I think we're still not there, but at least we're on par with other media now. I'm not ashamed of a lack of diversity in chapters, but hey, perhaps this is not the real world you live in. They always try to get sarcastic and sassy. Maybe you live in a world where your whiteness and maleness is under constant threat from increased diversity and acceptance of others who may not look, speak, or act like us. If that's the case, maybe it's time you reflected a bit on your values and position, or you'll be left far, far behind." Yikes. This guy's fucking wacko, dudes. I don't get it. Instead of taking fair criticism, you're gonna label it as trolling. You're gonna label it as a platform to attack white people and give this whole speech about how white people bad, white people can't voice act for characters in your games. And this was in 2015. You didn't learn your lesson at all, because Dustborn came out and it's failing immensely. Matter of fact, just for shits and giggles right now, I want to check Steam database and let's see how many people are actually playing this game as we speak. As we fucking speak right now, guys, there's only 8 people in game on Steam playing this game from this guy, the CEO and his company, where he literally is unhinged and triggered over white guys, complaining about it, bitching about it, yelling about it, like throwing a fit, doesn't want white actors, hates Donald Trump. Just like, these people are whack, and they've never even hit 100 people on this game playing their all-time peak. There's been literal European tax dollars paying for this. And I've also read recently that there's some actual US dollars that actually helped pay for development for this. Money has been wasted developing this game that this guy that is sick in the head, who hates white people, who's extremely racist against white people, does not like gamers clearly. These guys are more focused on making games with political agendas, woke narratives, bullshit, instead of actually making an entertaining game. Instead of making something that people will enjoy and remember with good characters that speak for themselves. A good person, a good character does not need to have a label attached to them. Who cares what the person's skin or what they look like or anything like that? Well, that's privilege. What about people that are dark? That's not the make them. But don't make your game like, oh, this character's good because they're not white, and this character's bad because he is white. Like, just make good characters, make good stories, tell good stories, make good entertaining stuff, and you won't have just 8 people playing your fucking game. And the audacity that these people have, they're coming into the gaming industry more and more. They're journalists, they're developers, they're community managers, they're CEOs. Why? Why is entertainment getting this bad? Like, where was the directive within the last decade or so to just be super anti, like, consumer friendly, to be politically correct, but to be far removed from what the audience actually wants? This modern audience that they're catering to is not there, guys. Look at this. 8 players playing right now. There's literally going to be more people watching this video than have played this game entirely. That is nuts. That is absolutely insane to think about how terrible this game is going. If I knew better, this studio will be closing down soon. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles again, I want to check their other game that they made. I believe this is the other game. Red Thread Games. They got 3 people playing this, but at least that game hit over 1,711 people. So a game from 8.3 years ago has 3 people playing it right now, 11 people in the past 24 hours as a peak. And a game that just came out, had its launch not even, 2-3 weeks ago, has 8 people playing, 24-hour peak at 28, 83 all time. Nobody is playing this game. And I don't care what you guys say. It's because of this train of thought that these people have. It's because of this guy, Ragnar Tørnquist, who's fucking insane. That's more focused on fucking weird woke narratives instead of making good games for his company. It's because of this guy, a white guy that hates white people, that his company's failing. But it doesn't matter because he's getting tons of taxpayer money, guys. These guys are funded by lobbyists, woke companies, government that fund woke bullshit. Right? That's why these companies can survive losing tons of money, because it was just handed to them. This guy's a joke. Red Thread Games is a joke company. To see what is essentially a manifesto about how white people are bad and how they hated all the white people that have worked for them and that they want to change things over a decade ago, and to see this train of thought has led them to the path where they're only getting 8 people playing a game right now, should be plenty of proof to anybody that wants to say woke and diversity is good, that it doesn't work. If you go woke, you literally get broke. That ain't just a catchphrase. Again, this modern audience does not show up. If you cater from, they do not show up. They don't come and support the movies, the TV shows, the video games. They don't. That's why Concord failed. That's why Dustborn failed. And that's why Acolyte failed. That's why Star Wars Outlaws is rumored to sell 55% less copies than what they anticipated. The sooner that these people that are making entertainment realize people want to be entertained, we don't want to be indoctrinated. We don't want to be lectured about white people bad. We want to have fun with our games. Games are meant to be fun. And people are getting that wrong. And they don't like people like me saying this, people like Smash, so on, the people I named. If we say this, we're grifting, right? We're right-wing grifters that don't believe this, and we're just catering to a small, dumb, unintelligent common denominator of people that can't think for themselves, right? They think that all of you guys that hate wokeness are a whole bunch of hillbillies that aren't educated. I've seen it. I've actually had friends that I don't talk to anymore. They're like, oh, Grums and all those guys, they just know that they're catering to a whole bunch of idiots that don't know better. No, it's true, all right? The proof is in the fucking pudding. How can you defend this guy writing all this crap and sit there and literally think and agree, oh, that guy has a good fucking point. That guy's right on the dime, hating white people. How can you hate that? Or how can you agree with that? To me, this is extremely unhinged. To me, this is extremely insufferable. To me, this is just somebody that's not in touch with reality at all. He wanted to attack that person saying that the real world is not all white. Like, nobody said that. Nobody fucking said that. And this guy just got triggered at the thought of him being asked, will there ever be a positive white character in a game that they make? They are deranged, guys. They hate straight, white, male gamers. All of them. All of them hate it. They do not care if we're entertained. And to be honest, I don't think they give a fuck about half the shit that they preach. Like this guy saying white people bad, blah, blah, blah. I think he's just doing it for attention to please this modern audience that doesn't support. Because who's he catering to when he's saying all this bullshit? Whoever he tried to impress by saying all this is not playing his games anymore. Because again, they only have 8 people. There's literal tweets made by Red Thread Games that get thousands of likes, thousands of retweets. But where are they? They've only had 83 people play the game. Where are these people that don't show up? Why are all these people like this? That's what I want to know. It's nuts to just see how far the brain rot has gotten on that side of things. It's a disease, guys. This guy, Ragnar Tørnquist, is sick in the fucking head. If you sit here and you think he has a point, about what he's saying about white people, you have it wrong. You have it wrong. It's okay to have white people in roles. It's okay to have white voice actors. You hire the best actor or person for the role, regardless of their color. So if I'm making a book and or I mean, in a movie or a TV show or something where I need to cast somebody, not a book, a show or a TV show or a movie or whatever. I'm trying to comprehend how to say this because this guy has my brain twisting. If I'm making a movie or a TV show and I'm casting, I'm going to pick the best actor, whether they're white, black, Mexican, whatever, right? Oh, but what if the role's intended for the... Okay, well, you have the power to write what you want. But these people are way too concerned with thinking about the wrong things. Just let the story talk for itself. And Dustborn sucks. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you're brand new.